Alright, as you should be aware, Sonic the Hedgehog is in the Battle Pass for Chapter 7 Season 4, but they also released a comic book with some Fortnite lore. So it's pretty cool, and apparently it's free for everyone because they posted it online. So some of the big Fortnite content creators got a package in the mail, and this comic book was in it. Now sadly I did not get that, but as mentioned, it's posted online. So if you're too lazy to look at it, let me read it for you. I'm going to read all of it. It's only 11 pages long, but it's pretty cool. So here you go. This is the cover art right here. All three of these characters are supposed to be in Fortnite. That's Shadow, Knuckles, and Sonic. Now Sonic obviously is in the Battle Pass. We know that much already. So here we go. This is page 1. It says Dr. Eggman, Evil Genius Extraordinaire, and it says Egg Extraordinaire. And he says, "What is this? I've never seen readings like this before. And all over the base, too. Gah! What in the... Breep, breep, breep. What the heck is a breep? How come it doesn't say beep?" And then we got a rift opening up, and it literally says, "Step." And then Eggman says, "You think some piddly little anomaly will get the best of me? Think again. And if all else fails..." And then it shows the stranger grabbing this green diamond, and it says, "TP." Is that the noise a diamond makes when it gets retrieved from a holder there? TP. And then Eggman says, "I've got my machines. Metal Sonic, attack!" Then we got a square that says, "Looks like trouble. Metal Sonic, Eggman's mechanical muscle." So Metal Sonic might be a skin in Chapter 7 Season 4 as well, possibly in the item shop. But it says, "Clank, swipe!" And he tries to grab the diamond from Geno. And Eggman says, "Come on, put your turbine into it." And Geno says, "Interesting. I didn't expect to find such well-crafted technology in this reality." Then Eggman says, "Your eye for quality is appreciated, but nobody gets away with breaking into Dr. Eggman's private lab. Who are you, and what do you want with my Chaos Emerald?" So we can see Geno fighting Metal Sonic back there. It looks like he's got the upper hand for sure. Geno says, "I don't need to explain myself to you." And Eggman says, "Well, riddle me this, stranger. Do you even know how to use that emerald?" "I thought not." "Hold, Metal Sonic." And Geno says, "Your control is impressive." And Eggman says, "They don't call me a genius for nothing. A hypothesis, if I may. Based on the energy readings I've picked up, I'd say you're from another reality. And if you came for a Chaos Emerald, that means you think you can harness its power. There's a reason they're called Chaos Emeralds. They're exceedingly volatile. Lucky for you, I happen to be a leading expert." And Geno says, "A commendable deduction. Are you suggesting something?" Eggman says, "That depends. In return for helping you not blow yourself up, what do you have to offer me?" Geno says, "I have a power source of my own, but it's in a compromised state. Unstable. I am in need of a substitute, and in my search I uncovered your Chaos Emeralds. With their power, I should be able to run my enterprises until I can stabilize the 0 point. Assistance in harnessing this emerald's power would certainly be advantageous to my work. But I would not expect a man of your stature to work for free. If my plans come to fruition, reality itself will be mine to reshape. I can ensure you have a favorable place in my new perfect world." And Eggman says, "Oh ho ho! A new reality ripe for the conquering? I like the sound of that. What say we shake on it, Mr. Geno? I don't make deals on words alone. I need proof. Team up of the century here." So then it says, "Later in another reality," and Eggman says, "A demonstration? Oh ho!" And it says, "Swm." Such weird noises spelled out here. And they're doing something to this emerald. It says, "Ch-chock." And Eggman then says, "Voila! With this, we can power the entire grid. Impressed?" Geno says, "It is satisfactory." And Eggman says, "Good, good. I hope you don't mind that I brought some of my badniks along to help. It just doesn't feel like home without them around." So he's got his little robots as well as Metal Sonic. And Geno says, "Of course, I believe we have a deal." And Eggman goes, "Oh ho ho ho! Welcome to the Eggman Empire, Geno." They actually shook hands. Then it says, "Later still, back home." And we got a bam, crash, thunk. And someone says, "You call that a hit, Sonic? Get out of the way." And Knuckles says, "I'll show you how it's done." And Sonic says, "Hey, Tails, I got your SOS." So Sonic says, Tails? Shadow says, this better not be one of your pranks, Hedgehog. And Sonic replies, no, this is definitely the place from Tails' message. He said he'd found something bad, like world-endy bad. And then Knuckles points to the rift and says, you think that might have something to do with it? So apparently Tails put some kind of SOS out, and all three of the heroes come and find the rift. Okay. Sounds good. Then we got some kind of TV device, and it says, boop. Finally. Guys, can you hear me? And then it says, whoosh. Loud and clear. What's up, little bro? Where are you? And Tails goes, you saw the weird portal in that room, right? I'm on the other side. Whoa, says Sonic. Whoa is right. I found this old Eggman base while tracking some funny energy readings. And it turns out that portal leads to a whole other reality. And then Tails says, I couldn't help but take a look. What's scientific discovery without a little risk? Unfortunately, I wasn't the first. Eggman's here and he's working with someone local to build something. I don't know exactly what, but knowing Eggman, it can't be good. Worse still, based on the readings I've been taking, I think they're using the power of a Chaos Emerald to run their new machines. We need to put a stop to it before things get worse here, or they take their operation to other realities like ours. So this is just Tails explaining everything to the three heroes. Sonic says, got it, bud, I'll be there in a jiff. And then Tails says, wait, don't go through. And Sonic says, what? Why not? Tails says, the portal is only one way for biological life. Eggman and his collaborator rigged it. I only found out when I tried to get back. And Sonic said, so? We'll find Eggman, kick his butt, and make him open it. And then Shadow says, well, count me out. I promise to protect the Earth, this Earth. I have no such obligation to that other world. And Knuckles says, I feel for you, Tails, I really do. But if that portal thing won't let us get back, I can't risk being cut off from the Master Emerald. And Tails says, it's okay, you're right, it is too dangerous. Sonic then says, okay then, what do you want us to do? And Tails goes, that's the good part. Check this out. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Fashoom! What in the world? Those look like bad guys coming through. What is that? I don't know. Let's find out. What the heck? Sonic says, hang tight, Tails. Looks like we've got a bit of a bot problem over here. And Tails says, no, it's okay. They're totally harmless. And Sonic says, you sure about that? So he sent 3 clones or bots through the portal? And then Tails goes, I grabbed these guys off of one of Eggman's supply convoys. They were totally bare bones when I got them. I fixed them up and reprogrammed them to help me fight back. They're remote controlled, which is fine for simple stuff. But if I'm going to put a stop to Eggman's plans, they're going to need to do a whole lot more. That's where you guys come in. I need biodata from all 3 of you to complete their programming and make them fully autonomous. All you need to do is give your counterparts a handshake. And then Sonic says, so they're not going to, just spitballing here, start saying they're the real Sonic and attack us? And Tails says, ha, no, it'll work, promise. And Sonic says, okay, bud, we're trusting you. And they all shake their respective hands and it goes, zzz, shocks the crap out of them. So now they're real, kinda? And then Tails says, don't worry, they come pre-programmed with knowledge of their nature and our mission to find the Chaos Emerald and stop Dr. Eggman. They're here to help. So Knuckles, the real Knuckles, says, okay, but why is he so tall and gangly? He looks like a strong wind could take him out. And Tails says, I stuck with this look so they'll be able to use their gear in this reality. There's so much cool stuff just laying around. And then the fake Knuckles says, hey, I can hear you, you know. I'll show you how gangly I am firsthand. And the real Knuckles says, sure, let's pow! Right in the kisser. Which one of them got hit? Real or fake? I don't know. Okay, which one got knocked out? I can't tell. Well, one of them says, all right, you chucklehead, that doesn't count. Whoa, Nux! Cool it for a second, will ya? The real one's smaller, but I can't tell which one is standing up in that first image. Then Sonic and Sonic are back to back, and both of them say, Jinx, you owe me a chili dog. And the real Sonic says, this guy's way chiller than Metal Sonic. And then Tails says, yay, I knew you'd all get along. And both Shadows are like, And then Tails says, but we don't have time to stay and chat, we've got work to do. And the real Sonic says, good luck. And then they all say, come home soon, Tails. And then we jump into the Season 4 map. Look at this, we got Pac-Man stuff on the bottom. And it says, to be continued on the battlefield. So that's how we get the Sonic skin, the Knuckles skin, and the Shadow skin. They're bots. They're AI, created by Tails himself. How cool is that? So there you go. Let me know in the comments, how did I do on reading this comic? Was this entertaining to you, or did you not like it at all? Well, I figured most people wouldn't sit there and read it all, but it's better to have it read to you. A little bit of lore associated with it as well. So there you go. That's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like is always appreciated. And don't forget to use my Support-A-Creator code, which is tabortime. That's pretty cool.